What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Behind Enemy Lines Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, a proud New York Mets fan, a proud Dallas Cowboys fan. And every single day, I live and work deep behind enemy lines, right here in Philadelphia sports country. That's right. Every day I'm surrounded by Eagle fans, Phillies fans, Sixers fans, Flyers fans, and trust me, they never stop talking sports. So if you're a fan of a rival team, or you're just looking for a different perspective than the same old Philly media takes, you came to the right place. On this show, we'll talk Eagles, Phillies, and Sixers news, but from the perspective of somebody who isn't drinking the green Kool-Aid. We'll have segments like Pains and Gains, where we compare how my teams are doing versus Philly teams, and Enemy Lines Story Time, where I tell stories from living amongst some of the most passionate and sometimes craziest sports fans in America. So hit that subscribe button, and let's get into today's show. So 97.5 The Fanatic asks Eagle fans a very interesting question. How do you feel about the Eagles right now compared to when they walked off the field after losing to the 49ers? The results were crazy. 61% of you Eagle fans say y'all feel better. In what world do I lose my wide receiver one, my legendary offensive line coach gone? Your offense still has inconsistencies, which cost y'all in the playoffs. Now, yes, you added some depth at cornerback. Cool. You drafted a wide receiver who won the best wide receiver award in college football to replace A.J. Brown. I mean, you drafted a good receiver, but he's not replacing A.J. Brown, right? You brought back Jordan Davis. Cool. But you still didn't re-sign that dog, that Mr. Carter fella. Y'all ain't re-signed him yet. I would have took care of Mr. Carter over Mr. Davis, but that's just me. You re-signed Dallas Goedert, a very good tight end. I'll give you that. But losing, I don't think people understand, losing your wide receiver one and your legendary offensive line coach holds weight. So after losing to the 49ers in the playoffs, you're telling me you feel better after all that? I ain't buying it. But 61% of you guys said y'all feel better. 30% say you feel the same. I'll take the 30% over feeling better. And again, this is me looking from the outside in. I'm putting myself in y'all's shoes. If we barely made the playoffs, well, not barely because y'all won the division. If we made the playoffs and lost to the 49ers, and after the game, you're telling me CeeDee Lamb is gone? Oh, all hell's going to break loose. You feel what I'm saying? If you're telling me, you know what I'm saying, we had a good offensive line and the coach is gone now? Psh, come on, man. Come on. And 9% was the only real guys. The 9% said y'all feel worse, which is a legitimate feeling. Because it's not like, all right, y'all lost to the 49ers. It was a close game and y'all brought the whole squad back. Then I all right, cool. But even at that point, I'm not saying I feel better. I feel the same. But you guys lost major pieces and saying you feel better, I don't get it. Because you're not telling me Mekhi Lemon, I don't know how to say his last name, is equal to A.J. Brown. Ain't no way. You're not telling me you losing your legendary offensive line coach after 13 years that you feel better. You're not telling me that you got a new offense coordinator. I mean, y'all might feel better about the offense coordinator because, according to y'all, Kevin Patullo was trash. And he was. It was sometimes when Dallas Cowboys wasn't playing, I'm watching the Eagles. I'm like, oh, what they running? I think I ran that in third grade. So I get why you guys can feel a little better because you improve. Well, hey, we don't know yet. Sean Manion, I don't know how to say his last name, he might be a scrub too. We never know. But there's no way you're telling me you lost your offensive line coach, you lost your wide receiver one, and now everybody is learning a new offense that you feel better. You can feel better about replacing a scrub offensive coordinator, but the jury's still out on a new guy. And again, you don't have your wide receiver one. I don't think y'all understand that when the Dallas Cowboys ever played the Eagles, I was always scared about number 11. Anybody, and Saquon, obviously, but number 11. He was such a big body receiver that he could get open at any time because he was sneaky fast. And then I mentioned he was a big body receiver. First and short, he's going to win on that slant route. You don't have that anymore. Now, yes, you had Devontae Smith, but Devontae Smith had, 1 or 2 years, maybe 3 years without A.J. Brown. He did decent, but he wasn't like, whoa, where's the number 6 at? Where's number 6 at? No. When number 11's on the field, you're like, yo, where's number 11? Roll the safety down to him. Let number 6 eat. Because this number 11 will change the game. Number 6 going to eat. He gonna play good, but he ain't changing the game. So that 61%, man, that might be a little fugazi. I ain't buying that. And this is from the outside looking in. But I ain't buying that. I don't think Eagle fans, I get A.J. Brown might have had some character issues, but at the end of the day, that man was all-pro every year. I want to say besides this year, his first 2 seasons with y'all, he had 1,400. We're not just replacing that with a rookie wide receiver. Unless his name is Justin Jefferson out of LSU. We're not replacing back-to-back 1,400 all-pros. Come on, man. 61%? You missed me with that. Now, according to Zach Berman from The Athletic, with A.J. Brown gone, Saquon Barkley could have an even bigger role in the Eagles' offense.
A giant number 11-sized hole in the Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver room. Now, with what you've seen in OTAs and minicamp so far, how are they going about filling that?
I think a lot of this is about Devontae Smith. And Devontae, I would bet on Devontae Smith. He's going to be outstanding. Filling in the blanks around him is going to be a question. The one thing that I have noticed that I think Eagles fans should pay attention to is how much Saquon Barkley is catching the ball out of the backfield. And that should not be dismissed because Saquon, if you just look at these past 2 years, hasn't been used as much in the passing game as he was with the Giants. I mean, if you go back to his rookie year, he had, 91 catches or thereabouts? And he has this in his skill set. The Eagles' passing game has really geared toward Devontae and AJ and Devontae during these 2 years that Saquon was there. But I'm expecting Saquon to have a bigger role in the passing game in this offense.
And you're right. When your main wide receiver is gone, of course, your all-pro running back is going to do his thing. Now, I see that they mentioned that Saquon Barkley is a very good pass catcher. He had 91 catches before in one season. And that was his rookie year. He did have 91 catches in 2018. But you want to know what the New York Giants record was that year? They were 5-11. Me being happy that I have an all-world running back, who had a down year. We all know NFL running backs, they go on the decline quick, right? I'm not saying Saquon Barkley is out of there, but he wasn't looking like 2 years ago, Saquon Barkley. 2 years ago, Saquon Barkley, I'm like, the Eagles might win 3 rings. But after last year, and y'all lost A.J. Brown, I'm emphasizing the loss of A.J. Brown. I don't think you understand how crazy and how happy I was when I saw that he was gone. You're telling me that you're happy that Saquon Barkley is going to have a more role in the pass catching because he's going to have a lot of catches and he did it before. But that doesn't scare me. When my second leading catcher is a running back, that's not good, right? Because I'm sitting here looking at the receiving yards stats from last year from the Eagles. Number one, first of all, I had no idea Devontae Smith led y'all in receiving yards. He had 1,008 when A.J. Brown had 1,003. I had no idea. So let's take A.J. Brown out the equation. You're left with a Devontae Smith who barely hit 1,000 yards. Your second leading receiver was Dallas Goedert, who had 591. Then it was Saquon at 273. So you're telling me, yeah, Saquon's going to have maybe 60, 70 catches, probably anywhere between 600 and 800 yards. And that's being generous right there. He might have like 5. And you're happy? I don't care. I'm not happy about my running back getting crazy, spectacular plays on ESPN. He should be my second leading receiver on my squad. When your second leading receiver on your football team is a running back, chances are you was under 500 for the year. I'm just saying. Outside looking in. I'm saying, though. Adam Schefter recently shared his biggest concern for the Eagles. And whenever Schefter talks, people listen.
Now, Andrew Salchunas has the day off today. It is not because of a clip that went viral from our show last week about Jalen Hurts. He's got regular vacation, but he was getting ripped because he said his number one question for the Eagles this year is about Jalen Hurts' performance at the quarterback position with the change in offense, Sean Mannion now taking over. What is your evaluation of that? Is that your number one question?
My number one question for this team this year would be if the offensive line can stay healthy and hold up. And it's not a very sexy question, right? Like, if the offensive line isn't healthy, we can't get Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson back to health, I don't care what plays Sean Mannion's calling. They're not going to have much of a chance. The offensive line has to be better. It has to be healthier. They've been the foundation of that team for so long. They've been responsible for so much success. We're talking about elite, all-time Eagle talents. So I don't say this in a critical way, but I say it in a way in which the offensive line has had to play through some injuries, and it's aging. And are they going to hold up and hold together? If they do, it's going to be a great season. If they don't, it's not. To me, that's where it starts.
Yes, Adam Schefter is a credible source, and he has a legit reason to speak on the Eagles' offensive line, especially when their legendary offensive line coach is no longer there. But I just feel like there's bigger problems than the offensive line, right? Yes, you need your offensive line to be healthy so your all-pro running back Saquon Barkley can do his thing, right? But I'm just like, whenever we play the Eagles, yes, I understood, all right, we got to make sure number 26 don't go off because he's going to get at least 180-yard run in this game. Other than that, we got to keep him in check. But I don't think you guys understand that a main reason why that running game was so good was because you think that you should stack the box versus a Saquon Barkley to make sure he don't get up. But if you do that, you're getting toasted on the outside because the Eagles have two legit wide receiver ones. They have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So if you want to stack the box and stop Saquon, then you have two receivers who can score ASAP, quick, run his fade route, touchdown. So what you do, you either get into a passing defense, a passing scheme defense. You can't load the box because I'd rather give up 10 yards every other play than a 40-yard bomb, a 60-yard bomb touchdown. I just really think that losing A.J. Brown is going to hurt the Eagles the most this year, along with losing the offensive line coach. But just, like, dude, whenever we play the Eagles, I'm just like, man, like, when we had Trayvon Diggs on A.J. Brown, I'm like, oh, my God, it's Christmas out there. I personally think that the biggest concern will be that wide receiver room because I don't think Mekhi, the rookie receiver, is going to be as good as people think. He ain't no A.J. Brown. He ain't. And one comment that caught my attention came from John Kincade when he said, I value having players that want to be football players over celebrities.
The Eagles have a culture. And it's really weird, though, what surprises me. And I go back to the first segment and you sort of saying to me, I don't care about all that stuff with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo and everything. You don't value it. I do. I so value the mentality of having players that want to be football players over celebrities first. There is zero question in my mind, zero, that Jackson Dart loves being a celebrity and is enjoying being a celebrity. And to me, I think that's great for Eagles fans. I think it's awesome because he hasn't accomplished a damn thing, and he's loving being a celebrity. Scatterbo cannot help himself but to be out and about being a celebrity, being spotted. Where has he been? What's he doing? What's he been? I love it. Let them be living that life. Where can we be? Where can we walk a red carpet? Where can we be seen? I will take life with Jalen Hurts, boring-ass Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley, who literally are as boring as white milk and saltine crackers. And I will I'll take it all day long because I think you win with players like that.
And I'm going to tell you one thing. This might be the only thing I will agree with an Eagle fan because those New York Giants rookies, man, they walking around like they like they was in the conference championship last year. They walking around with swag. They hitting the scene. They partying. They streaming. They got the jewelry shining. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, what these dudes do? So I look at the record. Dude, they went 4-13 last year. And to be honest with you, they won 2-15 because the last two games, one was against the Raiders. All right. Everybody's checked out at that point. Raiders trying to get a good draft pick. Then they beat us last game of the season. We sat everybody. So in reality, they won 2 games last year. I have no idea why these rookies are acting like celebrities and popping on the scene and acting like they the new 1-2 punch in the NFL. Let me give you a little example. It used to hurt my soul when the Dallas Cowboys social media page posted a picture of the Wild Boys with DeMarcus Lawrence, with the rest of the defensive line all swagged out with jewelry. That used to get me so mad because I'm like, yo, I ain't going to do nothing. Our defense was last in the NFL. So I understand this statement where you rather have football players zoned in, locked into the game, just want to play football. They don't want to be out there on every commercial and every party scene, on every red carpet. And then when it comes to game time, they ain't producing. I agree with this Eagle fan here. In the last segment of the day about the Phillies, Todd Zolecki said he would take Trea Turner out of the lineup for a couple of days. And Philly fans are losing their minds over this one.
What are you seeing as far as the big difference from Trea Turner this year to last year when he was a top 5 MVP candidate?
I think that's it, quite honestly. He's just not barreling the balls that he barreled last season. And what I see and what I know of Trea is this: he's a very deep thinker in terms of his hitting. He's very analytical. He spends a lot of time watching video. He spends a lot of time in the cage. I've been at the ballpark after games where he'll come into the clubhouse in full uni, half an hour, 45 minutes after a game because he is so frustrated. He went into the cage and just hit. I would not have him in the lineup tonight. I would not have him in the lineup tomorrow night. It's not an insult. It's not a diss. Alec Boehm did it earlier this season. Coincidentally or not, I don't know. He's been hitting the ball pretty well since then. Years and years ago, probably 15 years ago or so, Charlie Manuel sat Jimmy Rollins for an entire 3-game series in Toronto. It helped. Maybe coincidentally, I don't know.
And then I don't know how to feel about this because typically I agree how Philly organizations run their teams. If you ain't producing, you're out of there. Especially Eagle fans. Coaches can't get it done, they gone. Look at Doug Peterson. He won the Super Bowl. A couple years later, he was out of there. Any player, if you ain't producing, you're out of there. So typically, I agree with that. But when it comes to baseball, I don't know. I feel it's 162 games. You're going to have a slump. You're going to have a bad month. Now, I'm not watching the Phillies as close as my Mets, obviously. But if my highly paid shortstop is having a slump, he going to get himself out of that slump while playing. I ain't sending him nowhere. You're going to earn all 30 of these $1 million. Like, for instance, Francisco Lindor was stinking it up. But guess what? That check hit every week or every month or wherever the case may be. You're going to keep stinking it up. You're going to work yourself out the slump. I ain't sending you nowhere. You think I'm going to send you to AAA and get paid $30 million? Nah, no. So I don't know. Comment below with your thoughts on this one. But me, baseball, football, we only got 17 opportunities. I get that. Like, you ain't producing after game 2, 3, you got to go. We only got 17 of these opportunities. Baseball, you got 162. And that money is ridiculous out there. So you're going to have to really work your way out this slump. Either you work your way out this slump or you're getting traded. So, Lindor, if you out here listening, guess what? If you in a slump, keep being in that slump if you want. You're going to be slumping in a different jersey. Straight up. You ain't getting sent to AAA and getting paid that amount of money. We pay you this amount of money for a reason. You shouldn't be slumping getting paid $30 million anyway. But that's just my thoughts. That's all for today's episode of Behind Enemy Lines Sports Talk Show. I'm Scoop, your Mets fan, your Cowboys fans, reporting live from behind enemy lines in Philadelphia sports territory. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do Eagle fans have a reason to feel better? Will Saquon carry a bigger load? What's your biggest concern about the Eagles? And should Trea Turner get a couple of days off? Subscribe, follow, and remember, sometimes the best sports conversations come from the other side of rivalry. I see you next time.